You know what this is. Welcome back to another episode of Late Night Thoughts. I have made 2 of these already. If you want to see any of those, just click up there. Oh, by the way, I usually film this in front of my window, but someone forgot to charge the iPad. All the Late Night Thoughts are in. I have to sit close to an outlet, which means I can't do it near my window. If you're curious why I'm looking down, my iPad is like right there. But anyways, let's just jump straight into it. Starting off strong with a hypothetical. How do celebrities eat fast food? Now, this is pretty stupid. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. Let's say it's late at night and a celebrity is like out partying and drinking and it's like, man, I want some Taco Bell right now. Do they just casually drive to Taco Bell and either go in and buy food or go through the drive-thru? Context. McDonald's essentially the day after the Oscars showed what celebrities ate the morning of it. I think this was from last year or earlier from this year, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll link the tweet in the description below if you want to go see it yourself. But anyways, I'm pretty sure they just asked their PAs, or the PAs just know like to go to like McDonald's or like Taco Bell and to get whatever the celebrity wants, right? But let's say like talking like late at night, because people get late night munchies. The PAs have gone home for the night, and let's say the celebrity themselves get late night munchies, right? Do they literally just drive themselves to like Taco Bell or like McDonald's and just go through the drive-thru, or just go straight into the place, order, and then leave? Unless they just ask their bodyguard to just go in and get it for them. Like, if it's late at night, I'm pretty sure like bodyguards probably just go home at night. Also, let's say like Pedro Pascal. Does Pedro Pascal like late at night, if he gets like munchies or something, get into his car, drive to Taco Bell and just order and then drive back? Anyways, moving on. I have a credit card, but for a long period of time I didn't have one. So I keep forgetting I actually have a credit card. So whenever I look at something, like let's say a t-shirt online, I look at it and I'm like, I really want to buy this, but I don't have a card. And that's when my thought process stops, because I then remember I have a credit card. Why is it looked down upon to have Christmas lights up on your house all year round? I can defend myself, because currently right now, in my line of view, if I flip this camera around, my Christmas tree from last year is still up. And it's because when you turn it on, it looks very, very cozy and very, very comfortable. I get it looks kind of strange, like in the summer, but like, is it because the summer months are like supposed to be, oh, like nice and cool and off to the beach and stuff like that? And is it because Christmas lights are supposed to emit a warmth feeling to it, and it's only supposed to be in the winter, and that's why it can't be up in the summer? Because there's a house in my neighborhood that has their lights just on their house all year round. They don't turn it on during the summer months, and I completely understand that, because like it's a hassle to put on your house, and then after like January you take it off your house. Like, I understand it's a complete hassle. Who said it's kind of strange to have it? Just to give a little bit of context for the next one. When I was writing all of these late night thoughts in the last 2 videos, including this one, I was working at a fast food restaurant, which means I got like a bunch of free food all the time. One of my go-to sides is chili cheese fries, and specifically jalapenos that you can add on your french fries from the place I worked at. This is just like a 1-sentence thing. Jalapenos aren't spicy in chili cheese fries, but it is in sandwiches. I think it's because there's a bunch of like cheese sauce and chili that completely negates the spiciness of it, so I can just shovel it into my mouth. We also offer spicy chicken sandwiches, but our spicy chicken sandwiches are really spicy also. I think it's because the chicken patty and the bun doesn't really negate the jalapenos, and because we put spicy sauce on the sandwich, it just elevates the spiciness of the jalapenos. Yeah. Again, this is from when I worked in a fast casual place. What recipe does restaurant mayo use compared to like craft mayo? I believe at the fast casual place, we used Heinz mayo. I like mayo in context, especially in sandwiches and burgers. The mayo packets that we gave out in the drive-thru, if you put it on like french fries, it tastes so much better than the mayo you usually have like inside of your house. warehouse, like in the container. I wish restaurant style mayo, the Heinz one, was sold in the grocery store. Anyone can tell you can always like replicate restaurant style foods, but it will never ever taste the same directly from the restaurant. If you ever worked in a restaurant, you know they use their own specialty, like restaurant grade everything. But anyways, another hypothetical. Well, hypothetically, let's say I wanted to live in the wilderness and become like a cowboy. 1, how would one even go about that? 2, like, do I have to buy a plot of land and just sell everything I own and live in the wilderness? Or can I just drop everything right now and just go into the woods and live there? Now, let's break these 3 questions down. 1, are cowboys still a thing, and can I still become a cowboy? I'm talking about like straight up bounty hunter cowboys. Or is that just completely Hollywood bullshit? 2, how would one even go about living in the wilderness? Because I follow this guy on YouTube. I'll drop his profile in the description below, but essentially he boiled it down to it's a long process to actually drop everything you're doing right now and living completely off their grid. That goes into number 3. Can I just buy a plot of land from the US government and just like keep it as my own and basically do whatever I wanted, like living in the wilderness? Or can I just drop everything, walk out of my door right now and just live in the wilderness? And also, is that even legal? Because I know this one other guy, besides the guy I'm gonna drop in the description, I believe he talked about how he bought his own plot of land and can basically just go about living in it. I'm just curious, how long is that process, and can I do it as like a 20-something-year-old? Going back to my fast casual days, not every food needs a condiment, but some condiments need food. If a food is incredibly well seasoned, perfectly balanced, it does not need a condiment. But some condiments need food, because some food like can be like over seasoned, or some food can be completely not seasoned whatsoever. That's when condiments step in, just like how I mentioned mayo. That goes the same thing with ketchup. I'm a firm believer that if you need ketchup to eat with your food is not seasoned very well. Moving on, Disney is extremely washed, and I'm a firm believer in that. I will never hear out someone's like reasoning about why animated movies needs a live action remake of it. It is completely unnecessary, and it makes no sense why you would take out that specialty from the original animated movie and make it into live action. What is the point of a live action remake? Someone please explain that to me. If you need to remake an animation into live action, there is a severe disconnect between the 2 properties. Lilo and Stitch is a really great example. Why do you need to remake Lilo and Stitch, the superb animated Disney movie, into fucking live action? The live action elements of Stitch is completely unnecessary. They look all fine in the animated movie. Why do you need them to be real life? Why is that any of that necessary? Don't even let me get started on the bullshit live action Lilo and Stitch movie. Just watch Disney animated classics of those movies. Don't even bother watching, because the live action movies do not understand the point of the original animated movie. Please! People who consume AI content need to be lobotomized. They're already brain dead enough, might as well make it permanent. And that's on God. Every male food content creator, especially bakers, have shoved their dick into their food at least once. You know exactly who I'm talking about. You know exactly the male baker I'm talking about. I am 100% sure he has shoved his dick into at least like a cake or a pie or a donut, especially an eclair. I know that as a fact. Don't ask me how. I just know I'm 1 billion% certain he has done that. But anyways, now, just hear me out on this. You know those videos of like people like going on Reddit and just reading Reddit stories? At what point do you have to give compensation or like credit that involves that Reddit story becoming mega viral and share a piece of that fame with the original poster? Because I've noticed this also. A lot of news articles like from Washington Post or like New York Times, especially ABC News or Yahoo News, they are notorious of going on Reddit and taking those stories and just writing them as like full-on written pieces of said Reddit story, right? Because that is really, really fascinating because you can compare Reddit stories to just like regular reaction content. Because in reaction content, you can like straight up just cut out the original poster and just react to said content. It needs to reach a certain limit, right? Let's say shit really hits the fan in America, in the sense that it officially blows up. How would that even work? Does it become massive panic where it's like every man for themselves, or is it like everyone knows, oh, like shit's about to go really, really down? Because we are slowly reaching that point where shit's about to go really, really down. I've also searched this up myself on Google and on Reddit, and it's like, it's when majority of the people, regardless of like political allegiance or religious allegiance, will like drop everything and be like, everything feels completely off. If you watch Last of Us season 1, that's how they showed it. Like everything just goes to fucking shit like that. Who knows? So the context for this next one is, I wrote this up during the Super Bowl of last year. Do you remember the Reese's Lava Cup commercial? That was one of, if not the best commercial that I have ever seen in recent times. And essentially the commercial plays out as these group of tourists are with a tour guide and looking at this active volcano that's about to erupt. The tourists are like holding up forks and knives and basically like getting really, really jittery, and they're essentially chanting, "Let us eat the lava, let us eat the lava." And the tour guide is like, "You cannot eat lava because you can't." The volcano erupts and it ends the commercial with the tour guide saying, "Don't eat lava, eat Reese's Lava Cups." It essentially very naturally plays into that idea of like, oh, I want to eat like sea glass and I want to eat like magma and stuff like that. And I find it really, really interesting because like when brands try to play into like memes, it's always going to be artificial. That was one of my favorite ads. If I could live in any fictional universe, I would want to live in the Spider-Man universe, especially from the video games, Arcane, Dishonored, Grand Theft Auto, Percy Jackson, Lord of the Rings, Batman, Call of Duty, any Lego game, Fallout, Skyrim, Assassin's Creed, and Infamous. It's very, very fascinating to think about. Next, if you really think about what America is currently going through in real time, it essentially follows the Fallout timeline in real life. But we're not there yet, because there was an article that came out, essentially the timeline that we're living in right now. It is essentially following very closely to the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 timeline of like how we're like on the verge of like going to war with China and stuff like that. But until there is a threat of nuclear war, or if China or Russia decides to invade Alaska and we decide to annex Canada, that's when you know it's gonna be full-on Fallout timeline. But yeah, I think it's very, very fascinating to think about. The concept of Batman doesn't really make sense to me, because when you read the wiki for Wayne Enterprises, they essentially run everything in Gotham, like Wayne Medical, Wayne Insurance, Wayne like housing or whatever, Wayne Entertainment, Wayne Food. Don't you think that someone probably in Gotham City would be like, where does Batman get all this tech from? That would essentially mean that Lucius Fox is essentially Batman's humanized version of an R&D department. But don't you probably think if Batman was a real life person, someone in real life would be like, hey, wait a minute, how Wayne Industries essentially has a sector in every single field, in every single career path? You can be like, hey, wouldn't Batman also get his gadgets from Wayne Industries? And then that's how you connect Batman and Bruce Wayne's identity. I have no idea how I came up with this. You need to ask like 5 a.m. Pearl, because I sacrificed my bedtime so you can have good video ideas. You fucking did. People with animal last names are cool as fuck. Prime example, Lucius Fox. Real life example, Wolf Blitzer. His fucking name is Wolf. That is the most badass fucking name you could ever come up with. Two of the most coolest badass people like you could ever imagine. Like that's like a full-on bad guy or superhero in like fucking DC or Marvel comics. Like Wolf Blitzer could be a character in fucking Wolfenstein. But anyways, podcasts from 2019 are the only good ones. Yes, I am talking about Smoshcast.
Well,
now, as you know, everyone and their grandmother has a podcast. But when podcasts were first starting out in 2019, Smoshcast was the only podcast that I actively listened to. Every single episode as it came out. But then, after Smosh left Mythical and started becoming independent, they sort of stopped Smoshcast, but then they brought it back with Smoshmouth. So just now, like, I just started listening the resurrection of Smoshcast. So I believe I am on episode 10, I don't know, but I'm gonna put it right here. This is what episode I'm currently on right now. Besides Smoshmouth, I caught up on the Last of Us Season 2 podcast also. Normal Gossip podcast is essentially, this is directly from their About section. Normal Gossip delivers juicy, strange, funny, and utterly banal gossip about people you'll never know and never meet. Host Rachel Hampton discusses reader-submitted comedic gossip with guests diving into the lives and decisions of complete strangers. The second-hand truth really is stranger than fiction. I haven't listened to it actively, but I'm going to. And also The Riddler, Secrets in the Dark. They're essentially called audio adventures. Warner Brothers made two, one about the Riddler and one about Batman. They're essentially like a radio show. Yeah, but no, Smoshcast is the only active podcast that I follow like daily. The next one I'm gonna go into is hyperpigmentation. Hyperpigmentation is the only TikTok meme that would be considered an old school meme. I'm what you consider a zillennial. My meme knowledge and my sense of humor is from old like 2000s kind of humor. But hyperpigmentation, it is the only meme that's still ongoing, because when you find videos of like people talking about hyperpigmentation, girl, even now, it is like the most viewed videos. Like it's up in the millions, and that is what you consider an old school meme, because I don't know what else kind of memes on TikTok that could be like at that kind of level. Let's do 3 more and then we'll finish off this video. Specific style of games make more sense on specific consoles than others. Let me explain. Playing games like Call of Duty makes 0 sense to it being played on a Wii. However, on like an Xbox or PlayStation, that makes the most sense for that kind of genre of FPS. And let's talk about Rayman Legends is like an Xbox game, right? My mind automatically goes to Rayman Legends is a game that should be on Nintendo, because it's like a side scroller, right? And the art style and like the funny kid music, and that goes also for GTA. I could not imagine playing GTA on like Nintendo, because that just makes completely 0 sense for me. You need to play GTA on like a PlayStation or an Xbox. Going back to my fast casual days, there are 2 kinds of people that go to fast food restaurants: normal people and people who completely shut their brains off the moment they walk through the doors. My biggest pet peeve is going up to the cashier and being not specific at all of what you want to order. You know exactly these kinds of people. They will not tell you like, oh, I want tomato, lettuce, and ketchup on my burger. They will also not tell you if they want cheese or not on their like burger. Those kinds of people I absolutely despise. I cannot get those people at all. Like, just be specific of what you want on your burger. I can't read your mind. This has happened to me multiple times. Even when I go to restaurants myself, I will try my best to be as specific as possible of what I want in my burger, and it makes no sense. Alright, last one. Celebrating a birthday or any special occasion on a Monday feels like a sick joke, and it's true. I really hate that. I can take this one further with talking about the 2018 Stanley Cup Finals. It wasn't on a Monday, but it was on Thursday. Coming back from school that day and seeing my family basically like preparing like nachos and like pizza and like chicken wings, it felt kind of strange to me, because I even asked them like, why are we celebrating today? Like, why can't we just do it like tomorrow? And they were like, why not? It's like the game's today. And I was like, I guess you're right. Being now like as a young adult, I can understand celebrating a birthday on like a Monday or like any other day, because I have so much free time outside of work, so I can basically like do whatever. But anyways, alright, that's it for Late Night Thoughts number 3, and fingers crossed, hopefully going to be making this a monthly series, but we'll see. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video.